I've done over 1,000 sales calls, and at first I was extremely terrible. I'm going to show you exactly how I went from an illiterate idiot to someone who's able to close any deal that comes my way. The reason you hop on a sales call and you feel like an idiot is because you are one. And I'm here to show you how to fix that, okay? I'm not saying I'm the best closer. I'm not even saying I'm a good closer, but I was talking to my buddy Keaton Walker the other day, and he was saying that a lot of the people that he talks to that are newer, he watches over their sales calls and he realizes that they're very cringy. They're very like people that have no clue what they're doing. When I started, I was the same way. I was using a sales script. Now I got the sales script from Sam Ovens, and it had just the weirdest questions like, what's your dream 12 months from now? And how does that dream affect your friends and family? Like these weird questions that you can't ask with a straight face, that no real person asks these type of questions. You know? It just made me feel like an idiot on these sales calls. And I didn't know what I was talking about. This guy was a genius. He knew exactly what he was talking about. So I just had to use his script because he knew what he's talking about. I don't know. I remember my first sales call I got, dude. It was crazy because it went exactly according to the script. I was targeting pest control companies at the time, and the guy was answering all my questions with all his pains and his problems, and like he had every major disease that you can think of. He couldn't keep money. He couldn't get clients. Everything that could ever go wrong was going wrong in his life. Now the sales call went extremely well, but he couldn't afford my services. But that was the exception to the rule. Every call after that was much different. Anytime I just started asking these weird questions like, does your family disown you because you're an ugly, fat, unsuccessful business owner? They would just be like, what are you talking about? Why are you asking me these questions? Or they would just hang up on me. And I didn't know what to do because apparently, according to Sam Ovens, all of these questions were very crucial. I needed to get the answer to all these questions. And I actually stayed this way until I booked a call with Keaton Walker. I did a coaching session with him like 3 years ago, and he actually really changed my perspective because he said,
your mama's so poor that when she goes to the park, ducks throw bread at her.
Okay, dude, that was kind of rude, but can you just please answer my question? How do I close more deals on these sales calls?
Do us all a favor, Karsten, and go back to working at Jimmy John's, because that's all you will ever be good at, you big nose, Squidward looking, skinny Holocaust survivor, hairline looking like it's trying to part the Red Sea looking, ears looking like you trying to learn how to fly, breath so hot you smell like you brush your teeth with deviled eggs.
Okay, bro, dude, okay. I paid for this coaching session. Could you please just give me a straight answer? He said you can't use these scripts when you're doing cold outreach, reaching out to someone, pitching your service to them. These scripts are only for people when they're coming to you and they're interested in your service and they want you specifically. So the guys like Sam Ovens that are teaching you these sales scripts and having all these weird questions, they're paying for a tons of ads. You know, they're putting themselves out there and people are coming to them through the ads. And then when they hop on the sales call, they have the authority position there to be able to ask these weird questions like, where do you want to be in 12 months? But when you're doing cold outreach, the sales call is a much different perspective. And so think of it like this. Let's say they have a casting call for the new Marvel movie, Spider-Man Kansas Edition. You get invited to have an audition for a major role in the film, and you're going to do anything you can to get into that role in the film. They, the people making the movie, are in the authority position there. You are not. You will do whatever they say because you're replaceable. Anybody on the planet would be willing to be where you're at. They would love to be in your shoes, and so you have to prove yourself somehow in some way. And so you do that by doing whatever they say. So if they say, hey, go to Antarctica for 6 months and learn how to juggle polar bears, you're going to do that, right? Because they're in the authority and you want it so bad. So you have to think about the dynamic here. They have full control. I want them, they do not need me, which is a kind of a good philosophy to live by. And it's the same if you're trying to sell a car. Let's just say you put a car in Facebook Marketplace, you put it for thousands of dollars cheaper than what it's worth, and so you have a lot of people that are willing to buy it because it's a bargain. And so now that you have all these people, now you're in control on who gets to purchase the car, and you want to choose the right person for your car. You can give it to the highest bidder, so if someone wants to pay more for the car, you'll give it to them. You can ask them all weird questions like what they're going to do with the car because they want your car. You're not looking for them, they're looking for you. But if I'm walking up to random people on the street asking them if they want to buy my car, most of them are going to say no, and the people that are interested, they're going to be really skeptical and they are going to say what's the price and what's wrong with the car. Like in this position where you're going to somebody asking them if they want to buy your car, you can't ask them questions to see if they're worthy enough to buy your car because it's like, dude, you came up to me, asked me if I wanted to buy your car, and now you're acting like I need to be worthy enough for you. Like, and it's the same dynamic if we're doing sales calls. So if we're reaching out to people asking them if they're interested, we can't act like we're in some high horse authority position doing these fancy sales scripts like, you know, why do you want to work with me? Like, dude, you're going to them, they're not coming to you, so you can't ask those questions. What do we do in this situation? How do we actually get somebody to make a decision even if we're not in the authority position there? Well, the first thing we need to do is that when we're selling something, it's just so much easier to sell some things that are direct needs needs for people. I know this is super simple, but some people just don't get it. Basically, we only really want to sell things that people are like constantly thinking about, right? So in business, people are constantly thinking about, how do I get more clients, or how do I keep up with the work that I currently have? So you want to think about, what is the problems that are people having consistently within my target audience? What are they going to bed thinking about? You know, what's keeping them up at night? Most people want to resolve their problems around money, status, relationships, or health. And so we need to try to stick to those things in order to make the sales call a lot easier. I just see a lot of people pitching like really stupid offers, like, hey, we're going to teach you how to eat your Nutella properly. So now that we have an offer that people actually want, how do we make this offer so good that they just have to say yes to it, or there's like little to no risk involved for them? So we want to make the process frictionless, effortless, and risk-free. And so if we can do all these things, then the sales call just becomes extremely easy. Now, when it comes to actually doing the sales call, you want to keep it super simple and light. You want to act like a real human. You don't really want to read from the script. I usually never use a script. You know, you can use a script, but the script is really just to understand how the sales call works. And so every sales call kind of has 3 different functions. First section is kind of understanding where the client is right now. Second section is, where does the client want to go? And the third section is what your offer is and how you can actually help them get from where they are right now to where they want to go. So when we hop on the sales call, I just ask them how their day's going, and I tell them that this sales call is going to be very light. I'm not going to keep them for long, and I'm just going to ask them a few simple questions. And see, just doing that makes the process simple, frictionless, easy. We don't need to go into deep philosophical questions about their life purpose. So on the sales calls, I'm usually selling marketing services to them. So I usually ask, how do you get clients right now? Then they'll answer that question and tell you how they're getting clients right now. Then what I usually say is, how is that going for you? Now here we're just really trying to look for what the pain level is, because they'll say one of 2 things. They'll say, you know what, it's working pretty okay. We're getting clients. We're kind of looking around, price shopping and seeing what else is out there. And if that's the case, then it's going to be pretty hard to sell to them, because they're really just price shopping and looking around. But if they say, oh, it's really not working for us, we can't get it to work, I don't know how to get more clients consistently, and I just really don't know what to do, and I'm really just looking for all the help I can get. And so in that case, they have a huge pain point and a huge problem, and you can actually help them with the problem, so it's going to be a little easier to sell to them. I usually just try to ask them some metrics as well, so like, how many appointments are you getting with this system, or how many clients per month are you getting with this? And this also kind of brings out some pain, because they're going to say, oh, we're really only getting 5 to 10 appointments per month from this, and it's not working that great. We also want to remember the pain points that they're experiencing, because we want to kind of bring them back later. So if they say, you know what, we've used cold email in the past and it just didn't work for us, then later on the sales call, I can say, yeah, I don't like using cold email either. I have 10 other strategies and none of them are cold email, and these ones actually work a lot better for me. And so this is what I would do if I were you. And so we tell them that, hey, that pain point, I understand that pain point, I get that, and we have a solution for you. So now we know where they are, we know what they're doing. Now it's about trying to figure out, where do they want to go. Now the way I ask these questions is a lot different than how everybody else asks these questions, because everyone else says, what's your desired state 12 months from now, and how does that affect your relationship with your father? I just like to say, how many clients or sales calls can you actually take on? This puts the limit on them. And so basically I'm saying, hey, look, I can bring you as many as you want. I can bring as many clients or sales calls as you want. But what's your limit? What can you do? Because I'll fill up to whatever you can do. And they say, oh, I can take on 5 sales calls a day, and I can take on another 6 to 10 clients per month. Right? And then from here, I just say, okay, great. Now can I tell you how my system works and how I can actually help you? And then you're just going to go into how you can get them from their current situation to their desired situation. What I like to do is I like to tell them, hey, you want to get to 5 to 10 sales calls per day, you want to get to 6 to 10 clients per month, this is how I would do it. Then I kind of go into my value. So I would say, like, if I were you, I would do this, I would do that, I would do that, I would do that. And I'm positioning myself as the authority here. I'm telling them everything that I know. I'm showing them that I know what I'm talking about. There's a really good book called, I think it's Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. If you can actually convince someone that you're the expert, they're a lot more likely to buy from you if you can do that. So I used to work at Best Buy, and at Best Buy, people would come in about TVs. I wasn't in the TVs, I was in the cameras. And so when someone said, hey, what's the difference between this TV and this TV? I'd be like, I don't really know. And they'd be like, okay, get me someone that does know, right? That is the expert. Now, when it came to cameras, someone came in asking for a camera, I knew everything, right? And so they would just buy whatever I told them to buy, because I knew more than they knew. Right? So I like to tailor the offer to them. I call back to the pain points that they were experiencing in the past. I kind of go in depth of how I would get the exact end result that they're looking for, right? So if they're looking for more high quality calls, well, I don't want a ton of calls, I just want higher quality calls. And I say, okay, well, if you want higher quality calls, what's the best thing to do is this, that, and the other, right? So now you've explained your offer, they're interested in your offer, but you're still just some kid they met on the internet a couple of days ago, and now you're asking them for their hard-earned dollars. So how do we actually get them to say yes and actually hand you over some money? Well, this goes back to making it frictionless, making it easy, and making it risk-free. So What I like to do is I like to make a win-lose guarantee. So even if they lose, they still win, or a performance model where I only get paid on performance, or both. So if the offer was, hey, I can set up the system for you to get 120 sales calls per month and you don't have to pay me unless you close the deals, right? That's an amazing offer. I would take that offer. Or if it was like, hey, I'll help you set up the system. It's going to be $2,500. And if it doesn't work within 30 days, I'll pay you $5,000 back and you get to keep everything for free. I think anybody would take offers like that. And it's just about minimizing risk. And so we can do performance model, like I said, or win-lose guarantee. So even if they lose or they don't get me up to the expectation, right, you don't fulfill on your services, they still win in some way, or they still get more value out of it, even if they did lose, right? So let's take this back to the car example. Let's say you're trying to sell a 2004 Buick LeSabre. It's got 80,000 miles. It was well maintained by a sweet old couple. This is me showing that I know what I'm talking about, right? Now, according to Kelley Blue Book, this car is worth $3,200, but I'll give it to you for $1,500. And you don't even have to pay me today. Here's the keys. Go ahead and drive it around for a month and see if you like it. If you do, we can make a deal. If not, that's okay. That's all good. You just keep the car for free, right? Holy cow, that's an amazing offer. How do I say no to that? We're still not in an authority position here, but we put them in a position where they just can't say no to something like that. Now, something else that you can do to make this a little more compelling for you, at least, is you can say, hey, look, let's just say we'll give it to you for $1,500. You can drive it around for a month. Or you can pay me $1,000 today. You can drive it around for a month. And then a month from now, if you don't like it, you can bring it back and I'll pay you $1,500 to bring it back to me, right? And then it's like, oh, so now you're getting money up front. There's still a win-lose guarantee. So even if they lose, they still win. They get more money in return, right? So that's kind of an extreme example, but that's kind of how we want to think about it. How do we make this sound so good that they just can't say no? Thank you for watching. I hope this helped you guys out. I'm in beautiful Bangkok, Thailand. It is 95 degrees here. If you guys want to see any other videos while I'm here, let me know. I'll talk to you guys soon.
I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning, I break my legs, and every afternoon, I break my arms. At night, I lie awake in agony until my heart attacks put me asleep.